Good morning, everyone. Today we're waking up to a truly extraordinary weather event that's making headlines across the American Southwest. A dangerous and rare storm system is sweeping through the region, unleashing a massive amount of rain on an area that's usually defined by its arid, sun-baked landscapes. For many communities, this is the most significant rainfall they've seen in years, and it's arriving with little warning. This isn't just a passing shower. Heavy rainfall began several days ago and is expected to persist well into next week. The relentless downpour is already causing major flash flood threats, with water levels rising quickly in both urban and rural areas. Streets that are usually bone dry have turned into fast-moving rivers, and emergency services are on high alert. The ground here, hardened by months of drought, simply can't absorb this much water all at once. As a result, the risk of flash flooding is especially high, and even areas that rarely see rain are now facing dangerous conditions. Millions of people across Arizona, Utah, and New Mexico are experiencing major disruptions to daily life. Roads are quickly becoming impassable, riverbeds are swelling beyond their banks, and entire neighborhoods are being cut off by rising waters. Emergency crews are working around the clock to respond to calls for help and to keep residents safe. National parks and popular tourist destinations, usually bustling with visitors, are now under threat. Trails are washed out, campsites are flooded, and park officials are urging everyone to stay away from low-lying areas and river crossings. This is a high-impact event, fueled by a surge of tropical moisture from the Pacific. The combination of warm air and abundant moisture is creating perfect conditions for intense, long-lasting storms. Everyone in the path of this system needs to exercise extreme caution, whether you're at home, on the road, or planning to spend time outdoors. The rain just keeps coming, with a powerful plume of moist air from the Pacific Ocean locked in place over the southwest. Satellite images show a steady stream of clouds and precipitation, and forecasts indicate that this pattern could persist for several more days. As the downpour continues, the ground becomes more and more saturated, leading to dangerous runoff. Dry riverbeds, known as arroyos, can fill up in minutes, turning into raging torrents that sweep away anything in their path. Even areas far from rivers are at risk as water pools on the surface and flows downhill. Residents and visitors alike must stay alert and be ready to act quickly. Keep an eye on weather alerts, have an emergency plan in place, and avoid travel if possible. If you're in a flood-prone area, be prepared to move to higher ground at a moment's notice. Tourists should heed all warnings and avoid venturing out until conditions improve. So, what's behind this extreme weather? Let's take a closer look at the powerful forces driving this major storm system and what we can expect in the days ahead. The main source of this moisture is the remnants of Hurricane Priscilla, which, though weakened, is still fueling heavy downpours. Priscilla's tropical moisture is the key ingredient for this historic rainfall. But there's more. Tropical storm Raymond is following a similar path and will send another surge of moisture early next week. This 1-2 punch means the ground won't have time to recover, making flooding even more likely. An atmospheric river, guided by a low-pressure system off the Pacific Northwest, is funneling all this moisture directly into the southwest. Even without a hurricane making landfall, these remnants can cause catastrophic inland flooding, especially in mountainous terrain. This rare setup is exactly what's unfolding now. Let's talk numbers. Rainfall totals are staggering for this region. Most of the southwest will see 2 to 4 inches, more than some cities get in months. Isolated areas, especially in higher elevations, could see 6 to 10 inches. Phoenix has already seen a month's worth of rain in less than a day. The heaviest rain is expected today and tomorrow, with more on the way from Raymond. This prolonged, intense rain will keep the flood risk dangerously high into next week. Several days of relentless rain will saturate the soil and turn streams and ditches into flood paths. This is a marathon event. Vigilance is needed for days to come. The flood threat this week covers a vast swath of the southwestern United States, stretching across deserts, mountains, and cities. While many areas are bracing for heavy rain, some locations are at much greater risk than others, due to their geography, population, and recent weather patterns. Arizona is at the epicenter of this unfolding weather event. Cities like Phoenix, Tucson, and Flagstaff are facing a moderate to high risk for flash flooding. These urban areas, with their sprawling neighborhoods and busy highways, can quickly become dangerous when heavy rain overwhelms drainage systems. Even a short burst of intense rainfall can turn streets into rivers and underpasses into traps for unsuspecting drivers. But the threat doesn't stop at Arizona's borders. The risk zone stretches across the Four Corners region, impacting parts of Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico. In these areas, the combination of rugged terrain and dry soil means water runs off quickly, funneling into canyons and low-lying communities with little warning. Even Southern California and Nevada are not immune. Scattered flash floods are possible in desert towns and neighborhoods, where the ground is often too hard to absorb sudden downpours. Roads can wash out in minutes, stranding travelers and cutting off access to remote areas. National parks, including the iconic Grand Canyon, are under flood watches. Steep canyons and slot gorges can become deadly traps in a matter of minutes, as water rushes through narrow passages with incredible force. Even experienced hikers can be caught off guard by the speed and power of flash floods in these environments. Tourists and visitors, especially those unfamiliar with the unique dangers of the Southwest, are at particular risk. Many may not realize how quickly conditions can change, or how far floodwaters can travel from a distant storm. If you have plans to visit parks, trails, or outdoor attractions, it's essential to check for closures and heed all posted warnings. Rangers and local officials may close trails or restrict access to certain areas for your safety, even if the weather looks clear overhead. The flood threat is widespread, affecting everything from busy city streets to remote canyons and backcountry roads. No area is completely safe when storms move in, and flash floods can strike with little warning. Emergency officials across the region are on high alert, monitoring conditions and preparing to respond at a moment's notice. Their vigilance is crucial, but your own awareness is just as important. Make sure you have a reliable way to receive weather alerts, whether it's a smartphone app, a weather radio, or local news updates. These alerts can provide critical information about changing conditions and evacuation orders. Acting quickly when you receive a warning can give you precious time to get to higher ground or seek shelter. Don't wait until you see water rising. By then, it may be too late. Always follow local warnings and advice from park rangers and emergency officials. Your safety, and the safety of those around you, depends on staying informed and prepared as this flood threat unfolds. The Southwest landscape makes this storm especially dangerous. Hard, rocky soil doesn't absorb water. Rain runs off like it's hitting concrete. Steep mountains and deep canyons funnel water rapidly into low areas and washes. These dry riverbeds can become raging torrents in minutes, catching people off guard. Slot canyons, popular with hikers, are natural traps. Floods can arrive from storms miles away. Never enter a slot canyon if rain is possible anywhere nearby. Urban areas are also vulnerable. Drainage systems can be overwhelmed, turning streets into rivers. The combination of non-absorbent ground, steep terrain, and heavy rain creates a perfect storm for flash flooding. Both rural and urban areas face serious risks. Respect the landscape and stay alert. Never underestimate moving floodwater. It's more dangerous than it looks. Just 6 inches of fast-moving water can knock you off your feet. 1 foot can float a car. 2 feet can sweep away SUVs and trucks. Most flood-related deaths happen when people try to drive through water. Turn around, don't drown is life-saving advice. Floodwater is often filled with debris and mud, hiding hazards and washed-out roads. What looks shallow could be a deep, deadly drop. Flash floods move with incredible speed and force, destroying everything in their path. Water can erode bridges, wash out roads, and move boulders. Never risk crossing a flooded area. No destination is worth your life. Respect the power of water to stay safe. Always choose safety over convenience. Heavy rain brings another danger. Mudslides and debris flows, especially on steep slopes and burn scars from recent wildfires. Burn scars are especially vulnerable. Without vegetation, rain runs off quickly, picking up soil, ash, and debris. This slurry can move like wet concrete, destroying everything in its path. Debris flows can happen with little warning and move faster than you can run. If you live near a burn scar and a warning is issued, evacuate immediately. Even areas without burn scars can see mudslides if the rain is heavy enough. Watch for signs like cracks in the ground or tilting trees. The combination of saturated ground and steep terrain means the risk will remain high throughout this event. Stay alert and be ready to act quickly. there is a silver lining. This storm could bring some drought relief to the parched west. Widespread rain will help replenish soil moisture and raise water levels in reservoirs. However, the rain is falling too fast for the ground to absorb, so much of it will run off, causing floods and mudslides. This is a double-edged sword. Needed water arrives, but in a way that brings immediate danger. The long-term benefits are uncertain, but the short-term risks are clear and present. This event highlights the challenge of living in a region of climate extremes. Sudden swings from drought to flooding may become more common as the climate changes. We must prepare for both sides of this new reality. When severe storms threaten, your safety and the safety of your loved ones should always be your top priority. Knowing what to do before, during, and after a storm can make all the difference. Stay informed by using multiple reliable sources for weather alerts. NOAA, weather radios, emergency, alert apps, and local news broadcasts. Set up notifications on your phone and make sure everyone in your household knows how to access these updates. Information can change quickly, so check for updates often. Understand your risk. If you live near a floodplain, river, or wash, you may be especially vulnerable to flash flooding. Review flood maps for your area and talk with your family about where you'll go if you need to leave quickly. Have a plan to move to higher ground at a moment's notice. Prepare for possible power outages by charging all your devices ahead of time. Gather flashlights, extra batteries, and keep them in an easy-to-reach spot. Consider having a battery-powered radio and backup chargers ready as well. If authorities issue an evacuation order, don't hesitate, leave immediately. Waiting to see the water rise can put you and your family in danger. Take your emergency kit, important documents, and pets with you if you can do so safely. Never attempt to drive through flooded roads, no matter how shallow the water may look. Floodwaters can be deceptively strong and deep. Always turn around and find a safer route. If your vehicle stalls in rising water, abandon it immediately and move to higher ground. Your car can be swept away in seconds, so act quickly and carefully. Avoid driving at night during storms, whenever possible. Flooded areas are much harder to see in the dark, increasing your risk of getting trapped or stranded. Postpone any outdoor activities, especially in canyons, washes, or parks. These areas can become extremely dangerous with little warning, as water levels can rise rapidly and without notice. Always check for park and trail closures before heading out. Respect all posted warnings and barriers. They're there to protect you. Remember, your safety comes first, and so does the safety of first responders. Don't put yourself or others at risk by ignoring warnings or taking unnecessary chances. Be patient and stay indoors until the storm has completely passed. It may be tempting to go outside and check for damage, but hazards can remain even after the rain stops. We'll continue to monitor the situation and provide updates as needed. Stay alert, stay prepared, and most importantly, stay safe, everyone.